Welcome to the Off the Beaten Career Path podcast. I'm your host, Katie Myers. Here you will find the inspiration, strategies, and tactics needed to reach the next level and beyond in your small business and career. Thanks for joining us, and get ready to put these ideas to work for you. Hey, and welcome back to the podcast. I am joined by a very special guest today. Her name is Natalie Janine Gates. Natalie Janine Gates has become a dynamic and passionate advocate for women's rights. Natalie Janine has dedicated her career to helping corporate women who feel stuck in the grind and how it is impacting their future financial vision for themselves. As a seasoned speaker, Natalie Janine has spoken at numerous events and to audiences with thousands of individuals. She believes in creating work environments that foster authenticity, support, and personal and professional growth. Through her work, Natalie Janine empowers women to take charge of their financial future and career aspirations. Hashtag money is a girl's best friend. Natalie Janine's expertise lies in closing the gender pay gap by encouraging women to step out of their comfort zones and pursue their desired jobs, encouraging them to live a confident and free life, as well as having a tribe of women supporting women. She is every woman's cheerleader and supports them as they navigate their professional journeys and claim their rightful place at the table. With a solid commitment to gender equality and personal and professional growth, Natalie Janine is a driving force behind countless women's success stories. Her passion for helping women flourish in the corporate world is inspiring and transformative. Well, welcome, Natalie Janine.
Thank you. Hi, how are you?
Wonderful. How are you?
I am amazing. Like hearing you read my bio, I'm like, dang, that is good. And I am so thankful to do the work I do. I always smile when someone says hashtag money is a girl's best friend. I love it because it is.
It totally is. So tell me, so you're a career coach now, but tell me a little bit about your business and then what drove you to start that business.
Absolutely. So I quote call myself a career coach because that's the terminology that everyone can understand. But I am actually a freedom coach. But if I say that, people are like, what is that? And the reason why I call myself as a freedom coach is because you come into my program looking to make six figures. And I am passionate about the whole woman. As you saw in the bio, like I want you to be confident. I want you to be free. That is more than just your job. And so I do help you navigate you as a person. And so I got into this work because I was on a lot of interview panels for hiring people. And I worked with a lot of women and we were not negotiating. And we were leaving money on the table. And it really hurt my heart to see us not, first of all, it hurts my heart that we even have to negotiate, but yet that's the society we live in. But to understand and see that women were not negotiating, and some of them didn't even know they could, and some just didn't know how. And so I was like, no, you're leaving way too much money on the table. And so I want to help. And that's why I did it. And I have negotiated almost every income job offer that I've received. I love it. I feel like everything's a negotiation. The worst that you're going to receive is a no. And then guess what? You get to determine what you want for your life. You stay or you go. And that's beautiful. That's freedom.
That is totally freedom. So what I really like about you is you talk about building your career in the corporate setting. And I don't have a lot of corporate experience. Most of my experience is business ownership. So I absolutely love that you're doing that. So why are you so passionate about the climbing in your career? You said that you didn't see women negotiating. What else did you see women not doing to build that career?
I absolutely hate, and if anyone tells you to get your foot in the door, don't listen to them. Don't listen. Getting your foot in the door is going to take you forever to climb the corporate ladder or whatever professional ladder you're climbing. So, and I was one of the girls who, oh, this is just a foot in the door. I'm going to stay here 6 months and then I'm going to find somewhere else to go. Baby, that was a disaster. So I see women not applying for the positions they really want. This is what I don't like. Research shows when a little girl goes to school, her confidence shrinks. When a little boy starts school, his confidence goes through the roof. And sometimes we see it on how, and I'm getting somewhere with this. I know it sounds like a little tangent, but I am going somewhere with this. And you can see in a household how girls are taught to grow up, to take care of the house, to be nurturers. Boys are encouraged to play sports, and we're cheering for them when they do little things. Like my nephew, he loves jumping around like, look at me. He wants me to say a great job. And if I'm going to say a great job because you did a little hop, I'm definitely going to say a great job when your sister does a little hop too. But we see that at such a young age where we encourage boys to be free and to do things and we're going to applaud them. And then little girls were not doing the same thing. And that shows up in the workplace. Guys will go and ask for whatever it is they want most of the time. Statistically, that's proven right. And then women won't. Women won't brag about themselves. I'm like, I understand bragging comes across as a no-no and it's taboo and you look like you're not kind. But when you're applying for a job, if you don't brag, they're not going to know who you are. They're not going to know the skills you bring to the table. And so, besides women not negotiating, we're not bragging during the interviews, we're not bragging and saying what we do on the job for the promotion, the raise, and then we're not applying for the jobs we really want. We see them, we're like, I can't do 100% of the job qualification, therefore I'm not applying. Who said you need to do 100%? Nobody. Why are you telling yourself that? But yeah.
Yeah. And I will say too, I'm an employer. I've hired several people over the years, and I'm looking for somebody that has the right personality fit and most of the skills. You can train the rest of them if it's the right person.
See, I tell you that all the time. You need some of the skills, but it's definitely, as a employer, you're looking at, do you fit in the culture here? And then is there room to grow? Because I don't want to hire somebody else again in 6 months. And so if the person has some of the skills, they fit the culture of the employer's office, and then there's room to grow, you have a chance. So don't write yourself off because you can't do 100% of the job description. What I will say in my experience, employers put out a job description looking for a unicorn. They know that they're not going to get someone that can do 100% of the job. So please, sis, don't cross your name off the list.
Yeah, let them do that. Like, let them cross your name off the list. Why would you do it yourself? I was listening to one of your podcast episodes this morning. Definitely go check out Natalie Janine's podcast. It's great. What's the name of it again?
Your Life, Your Rules.
Your Life, Your Rules. I love it. So one of the things you talked about in the episode I was listening to earlier was you talked about that you have to market yourself and network within your business and all of those things. And those are things that I talk to a lot. I'm very passionate about marketing, sales process, and all of that because I'm a small business owner. But I don't think we talk about enough in your career, even if you have a corporate career, that you have to do those things. So can you talk more about that and how you help your clients really market themselves well for that next promotion, next job?
Absolutely. And thank you for the compliment on my podcast. You know, before we started recording, I was fangirling over your podcast because it's just so good and it's so authentic. And I feel like I know you. So thank you so much for pouring into us. Yeah, marketing yourself is so important because you always hear that saying, it's not what you know, it's who you know. And my thing is, I was raised that my reputation, aka my name, is all I have at the end of the day. And while I don't agree with that today, I'm thankful that I had that poured into me as a young woman. I mean, I don't know if you call teenagers young women, but anyway, I was a teenager when that was poured into me. And what I know is, I love that my name is spoken into rooms before I enter the door because someone has vouched for me. But in order to have someone vouch for you, you need to network. And it's so important. I think sometimes we think that we have to go to these big events and meet people, and that's how we network. And my thing is, every interaction you have with someone is a networking opportunity. If you're at brunch with some ladies or whoever, that's a networking opportunity. If you are attending an event for your job, that's a networking opportunity. And there's a lot of like, I don't know if we're all shy, but some of us are very nervous when we have to meet strangers. I mean, and that makes sense. You don't know these people and you got to go out and converse with them. But I made up this game a long time ago because I am nervous when I am in a crowd of people. I don't do my best naturally in a big crowd. But I played this game called the networking game. I made it up. And so anytime I'm out and I'm meeting new people, I try to do, even if it's socially, just meet 3 new people. And then you want to remember some random facts about them so you can remind yourself later when you reach out to them, how you know them or what did you learn about them. And then I follow up. Let's get coffee. Let's go for a walk. Let's get lunch. And that's how you get to know people because you never know who is connected to your next opportunity. And as you're getting to know and you're networking with people, don't be transactional. In the beginning, of course, it's going to feel transactional because y'all don't know each other, but actually build a relationship and be willing to give and have your arms open to receive. But it should be like we both help each other out and we get to know each other and we build with one another.
Yeah, that's definitely the way that I look at networking too, my philosophy is that I'm going to do so much for you that you will feel bad not doing something back for me. Like I just want to provide so much value that when a need comes to mind that is something I can help with, they don't think of anybody else but me. I don't want anybody to feel guilty and terrible, but a little bit of guilt helps, So I
I
think
fell into that.
yeah.
I fell into networking. So I've been doing this for a very long time. I literally started networking when I was 14 years old. And I didn't know that I was doing that. I just was in foster care policy, doing work, telling politicians what I thought was best. And then there was a guy, his name is Dan Saltzman. He was really an advocate for foster youth. And so we kept working together. And he would call me up and ask me, would I do this or would I do that? And I'm like, yeah, if I had the time, I'll do it. And then it was time for me to get a job. Without thinking twice, I called him and said, hey, I'm coming home for the summer. I need a job. I want to work for you. And he hired me. And then I have used his name for almost every job I applied for. Because why not? And I've gotten jobs. So yeah, it's definitely important to do it. And it's a long game. It's not I'm going to do it for 3 months and I'm done. When I started networking, I would reach out to them based on what we talked about. How's this going? What are you up to? This is what I'm working on. Stay involved. Stay connected.
Yeah, one of the things you mentioned on the episode I thought was absolutely brilliant. And I like to think of myself as like the networking queen, but this is not something I ever thought to do. Is you said that you'll write in a notebook just some notes about them. I even thought I want to take that a step further and I'll even put them into my CRM because I document everything about my customers, but I'm not documenting a lot about those business contacts. And those are sometimes more value, like it's valuable to know your customers, but it's super valuable to know those networking contacts. So did you just come up with that on your own or did somebody share that hack with you?
I came up with it on my own. One thing, I have a very good memory of people, but I started meeting so many people. I used to have a Google Sheets, it's free, and I would literally have on the top like their name, where did I meet them, when the last time I contacted them, and notes. And then I would every 3 months sit down with that list and check in with folks and say, this is what I've been up to. What are you up to? Let's grab coffee or let's, go for a walk or whatever. And the reason for the notes is because as it started to grow and I would add new people, I was like, oh, what do I know about them? So I would take notes. We don't use business cards as much anymore. So when you meet someone in person, take out the notes app on your phone or wherever you take notes on your phone and just write 3 random facts so that you can remember them and definitely follow up. Follow up. You have to follow up. My thing is, and like I said, I follow up 3 times a year. So 4 times a year, we're having a contact. That's not a lot. And let me tell you, you want people to remember you. Because if they forget you, out of mind, out of sight, you didn't network well.
Yeah. I absolutely agree. And it's definitely, you have to keep trickling in. I'm still now just starting to kind of circle back to people I was closer with earlier in my career 10 years ago. And I'm like, okay, let's see where they're at now. Their careers have grown too, and we're reconnecting. It's so valuable.
Yes, and I love it. I love that you're reconnecting. When we think about the journey of life, we often think about it being a solo thing. We always hear about these self-made millionaires. I don't believe anyone's self-made, period. No one's self-made unless you just live life very differently. But we need people. We need people. And so if you can connect with people on your life journey, why not? It's so much value in connecting. And I will say this. I just talked about it today, how I went from $50,000 to almost 6 figures. That was all because of a network. I didn't do that on my own. And so don't underestimate where people can take you and where you can take people too.
Oh, for sure. So I want to back up for a second. So you mentioned earlier that you started networking at 14, advocating for foster care youth. How did you start doing that at only 14 years old? That is incredible that you were in rooms like that at 14 networking.
Thank you for that. Hearing you ask and then hearing your compliments in that, sometimes I need to take a step back and reflect how awesome that is. Like I got an opportunity to do that work. So I was raised in the foster care system. And my sister and I would come home every day and we'll sit at the bar stools and we would just be gossiping and talking trash about the foster care system. And my foster mother got tired of hearing it. And she said, if you see a problem, why won't you fix it? And I was like, they don't listen to us anyway. And so Oregon was looking for a foster care youth advisory board, and they sent out these letters, and I saw that and I just threw it on the table. I just threw it. Like, whatever, they're not gonna listen to me. She filled it out for me and said, "You're
What a
going."
great
And I
mom.
said, "No, I'm not. I'm not doing that." And so I did it for about 4 years, and it put me in a lot of spaces and rooms that I would not have had exposure to ever. Like, I have to say, even though I was forced to do it against my will, I want to make that very clear. Forced to do it for 4 years against my will. To look back, it paid off because I got to learn a lot about legislation and how politicians work. And then once you start going to a few events, you get more comfortable because you see the same people at the same events and the same people supporting each other. And so that's how I got involved.
That is so interesting. And I just want to take a minute to commend you on you were raised in the foster system and now here you are coaching other women to get to six-figure careers. There's a lot of people who come from a similar background that would never think it's possible for them. What made you think it was possible? How did you even know it was possible?
Katie, you're pulling at my heartstrings.
Sorry.
No, it's okay. I love it. I appreciate, like I said in your podcast, you're very authentic. And so I love that you ask questions that come to your mind. So I I was always a dreamer, and I grew up in a very abusive and toxic home that I hope no child ever experiences. And when I was 10 years old for a school assignment, I guess you had to write out your life. And I said I was going to be married to a man who can fix cars. I was going to have 4 children, two biologically, two adopted. I was going to have a successful career at 10 years old. Nothing in my life looked like that. At that moment, I didn't know two-parent homes. My two closest friends were in foster children as well. My other friend was living in a similar life as me. I had moved every year, sometimes in the middle of a school year. So I had nothing to show me that this is possible. I just wanted this. I knew that this would get me to a life that I thought was nice. And then I had some people that blocked things that they believed would hinder my success. So, for example, when I was 16 years old, I think every teenager go through this where you don't like your parent and you want to be grown. And I couldn't stand my foster mother and I wanted to move out. And so I was taking these ready to rent classes, which are classes that Oregon offered to help foster children be ready to rent a place. I graduated, but I couldn't find a place. And I was like, what is going on? My caseworker knew that if I moved out on my own, I probably wouldn't be where I am today. So he didn't let me move out. He kept blocking it. And so I think just having those reminders and people pouring into me and speaking life into me, I had really great mentors. I really wanted to be connected to women who are doing things and that I thought I could learn from. I'm also a person, I look, listen, and learn. I don't make a lot of mistakes because I'm not willing to do dumb stuff. Like, I'm not willing to be risky in some areas of life. And so then I knew I had to go to college, even though I didn't want to. I said, if I'm going to go to college, I prayed every day from like October to about April. My prayer was this: God, if you're going to make me go to college, which God wasn't making me go to college, my foster mother was, I better have the time of my life and I better have a free ride. That I pray that every day, the same prayer. It was a prayer of anger because I didn't want to go. But I went to an all women's college, a historical black college, university in Atlanta, had an amazing time. And you know what? Even though I was there and I had almost a full ride, I got a criminal record. My biological mother threw me under the bus and did a crime in my name and blamed me. It took no responsibility. And I was super depressed during this time. And I remember crying every day, like, God, if this is about to be my life, because I know what this looks like. I came from a long line of family members in and out of jail. I came from a long line of family members with foster children. If I am about to be another generational curse, you can take me out. I don't want to live. If there's hope and life is going to change for me, keep me. And I prayed that every day. I would pray it through tears. I would pray while I walked to class. I'll pray it in class, like literally praying this constantly because I just did not want to live my childhood. And so I went to jail. I spent 50 days. Whoo, baby, never want to see a jailhouse again. And when I made it out, I had 14 charges against me. I was convicted of one. I told myself I will praise God's name to the day I die. I will praise my mentors' names and people that just helped me. But knowing that I came out of that with one charge or one conviction, whatever you call it, and I still got a job and I still had opportunities, I knew that life, I knew everything was possible for me. It was just a matter of my mind and me keep going after it and being willing to receive help. And that, while that could have taken me out, I could have, because statistically, people that I think the rate's like 70%, it's high. If you go to jail once, you're going back and you're not going to make it. And so when I had that experience, I said, "Oh, you're gonna make it. You're going to make it." And I just knew in my mind, it was just such a mental thing. I never saw that I would have be a teenage mother or I would be poor depending on governmental assistance. I'm not saying that's bad. It didn't give me the life that I thought I deserved. And so seeing myself go through a criminal record and coming out and just living today, it's everything that I want is possible. It's a matter of what I believe and what I tell myself. Your thoughts are so powerful. They make or break you before you take action.
I I have chills. That is such an inspiring story. And you could have easily just like been like, this is what it is. I can't be more than this. And how did you get out of, because I know people who have been through a lot less and have just such a victim mindset where they don't see the possibilities. How did you decide for yourself not to be a victim of your circumstances and to create the life you wanted?
I have never had a victim or a woe me mindset ever. I think that's just how I'm wired. I knew at an early age I had myself, like my biological mother wasn't present really, and I had to take care of my younger siblings. This time in jail was very different for me because it I was facing unknown territory. All I know is people go to jail and they return. I saw my biological mom be stripped away from me in handcuffs and me crying and pulling my police officer, don't take my mother. And she kept going back. And my aunties and my uncles. Like that's all I saw. So at this time I was just like, oh my God, I'm about to lose it. Like I don't know. But I would tell you, my adopted mom, she put life in me every day. And she knew that I would be okay. And I remember us having a conversation and we were having a sleepover together. And she was like, "You're gonna be okay." And she was in it with me every step of the way. And so that's how I knew I had options and I had opportunities still. But I'm also a person, not as much anymore, but I always think about my future. What's to come? What's next? How am I going to get the bag? How am I going to get a new job? How am I going to get this car? Like I always was going to the next thing that I didn't stay in the present moment. And I think that's why I never had that victim mindset. Oh, what was me? Stop. Don't you want to help me? No, I got something to go. Like I'm a go-getter. Today I'm still a go-getter, but I'm not chasing the future. It's like, girl, can you relax? Can you enjoy what you have right now? But yeah, that never crossed my mind because who's going to help me? I cry for what? Misery loves company. So we're going to cry together? Like, are you going to take me out of this situation? If not, let me take myself. And I've always like taken myself, but I am not afraid to ask for help. And I think that's what keeps a lot of people stuck. We are so nervous to ask for help or what people think about us. And my career, I tell people all the time, my career is because of other people vouching for me. I'm a great worker. When you hire me, I do great, but you got to get in the door. So how did I get in the door? Dan Saltzman spoke for me. Just so many people. Jocelyn Baker spoke for me. Like I can name names of people who vouch for me. I'll never forget. I'm going on a little tangent really quick, but this is talking about networking.
Yeah.
So I was sick and tired of a job I was working, and this woman was running for office, and I knew that she needed a new staff. I volunteered on her campaign. I watched her campaign. She won. I sent her a thank you card in my resume and said, I want to do this job for you. We met. She said, literally 10 people have said your name to me and why I should hire you. You're hired. To this day, I don't know who those 10 people are. I know who are three of them are because they told me. We don't have time for victim mindset. You still have breath in you. You still have life. And so you get to choose today. Am I going to be a victim and woe is me, somebody pick me up and no one's going to pick you up? Or am I going to be, I'm a survivor. I got this. Life is going to be good. And I'm going to ask for help for people to get me to my next step.
I love that. Well, and it's so true. Take out all of the traumatic stuff and all of that you've overcome in your life, even if you're not overcoming those odds and you're just looking to earn more money, advance in your career. No one else cares if you earn more money or advance in your career. You have got to figure out how to make it happen for yourself and how to move the wheels forward.
Yes. Yes. Your career is your responsibility. It's not your manager's job to promote you. It's not your manager's job to pay you more. We put so much of our power into our employers. And we think that our employers have all the say. And what I tell people all the time, if you're ready to make more, create the path for yourself. I have worked for people who said I could not get a raise and could not get promoted. And I worked my tail off where you don't have to tell me yes, because you're going to miss me when I'm gone. And created positions for myself within the employer. I've been promoted within an employer because I create my own path. You have to take all of this in your own hands, because if you're an asset to the company, they're going to create a win-win so that they're happy, you're happy to keep you. It costs too much to hire and fire folks, y'all. It costs way too much. So if we can create a healthy environment and work together, why would I not work with you? But I never waited around for a promotion or a job. I ain't waiting for you. You will look past me and be like, oh, Nancy came to me, so Nancy got the job, because Natalie Janine, you were waiting for me. I don't wait.
I love it. One of the things that my husband, who's had a very successful corporate career, has done is, and he always says it, if the job he's at isn't willing to give him the promotion he wants, he'll find the company that is willing to give him the promotion. And one of the things that's really difficult for me when I'm having conversations with other business owners who hire people is they talk about people being job hoppers or this. That makes me angry, to be completely honest, because I think you are not playing the game right if you're not hopping for the next role that is the best fit for you. If the company you're with isn't willing to pour into you, why are you pouring into them? Do you have a similar viewpoint on that, or do you think you should stay at jobs for a certain amount of time?
Well, if you look at my resume, you will say I'm a job hopper, and I'm a proud job hopper. Because my thing is, so this is twofold. I want to talk about the employee right now and then talk about the employer. For the employee, like she said, her husband says, if they can't promote me and I bring the value to the table where I need to be promoted, I'm going to go elsewhere. Go where you are celebrated. Go where you are valued. Why stay in a broken relationship? I ain't staying where I ain't wanted or respected. Bye bye. You're going to miss me when I'm gone. And then for the employer, I do believe that if you have a good employee and you want to keep them, why not create a situation where it's a win-win for both of you? And my thing is, people come in here shooting for the stars. As an employer, bring them the reality. Okay, I see you want this. You're not quite here. Could we staircase this? How about I bump you up to this? I pay you this, and then let's check in again in a year. That way you keep them and they grow with you. Employers don't do enough of that. And I don't know what made employers think they're the boss of everything. You're not. You're replaceable, just like you tell employees. So that's how I see it. But definitely go where you are wanted, you are valued, and you are doing great work. But you know why I think a lot of people are job hoppers and we're not talking about this? People are not applying for jobs they want. They're not applying for jobs that push them. So they get into these positions and within like 6 months to a year, they're ready to go and they're job hopping. If you're job hopping for that reason, it is wrong. I do believe that, because you're wasting your time and the employer's time when just go for the big girl job. Go for it. And like we said earlier, can you do some of the skills? Do you have a good personality? Katie tells y'all she hire and fire folks. She'll hire you if you got the personality, you can do some of the skills. She literally just told you that. And Katie's not a unicorn. Other employers think that same way. So if you apply for the big girl job and you can do some of the skills and you could have a good personality, you fit the culture, guess what? They'll hire you. Like you said, all that stuff is trainable. And I don't think people understand this. Employers don't say this. Almost every employee you hire, you have to train them. They don't understand your culture. So there's some training that's going to happen. I need employees to understand that. You will be trained at almost every job you take. Even when I was promoted within the company for one place, guess what? Who had to be trained again? Me. I don't know this new department. I don't know how y'all do things. So you're going to spend a good old 6 months training me, or however long it took. But yeah, be a job hopper if you need to, whenever you decide, but also apply for jobs that are going to push you.
Yeah, I think that's great advice. And I think it's also like we just need to embrace that that's the new culture of work. I think I'm probably a little older than you. I'm almost 40, but my parents are in their 60s and 70s. And back when they worked, you went and worked somewhere for, 40 years. You got your watch, you got your pension, and that's what you did. I'm not offering that. Employers don't offer that anymore. So why are we like beating ourselves up thinking that we need to be loyal to an employer? It's just, I want my employees to be loyal, but I treat them really well and feel that I give them what they need. So I'm not worried about it. But I think that we need to get out of that mindset and just chase after what you want. It's not about your employer. It's about you and your career.
It's about you and your career. And I will say there are good employers out there. When you find a good one, stay with it and be willing to have conversation. I think we shy away from difficult conversations and professionally. And people, it's so interesting how we say business is not about feelings, but then someone brings a difficult conversation to business and it's all feelings. We take the opportunity to learn, but like you said, my mom was a job hopper technically. And my mom is like, in that age, in that category where she should have been staying at jobs according to everybody else in her generation. And I agree, like, stay if it's good. When it's good, we stay. When it's not, bounce. Like, how you are personally is how you are politically and how you are professionally. We are just human beings that are who we are through and through. Personally, if you're not going to stay in a toxic, abusive relationship, why do it professionally? What? Who is teaching us that we have to take abuse professionally? Get out of it. Get out of it. Like the amount of toxic bosses that I hear my clients and women who come up to me talk about, I'm like, girl, leave. Don't let your boss make you cry every day. Leave. There are better bosses out there. Like we say, men are a dime a dozen, jobs are a dime a dozen too.
That is so true. One of the things I definitely want your advice on, what do you tell your clients about negotiating their salaries up? Because from watching my husband's career in the corporate world, I have seen him do that time and again and get so much more because of it. But I think we as women are a little bit afraid to do it. So can you talk about how you coach your clients to get better at that salary negotiation piece?
Yeah, before we talk about salaries, we talk about personal lives. Because what I realized is women who don't negotiate their salary don't negotiate in their day-to-day life. They let things slide. They let things build up and then they flash on you. They lose their attitude. They get an attitude with you. And so what I teach people is every day is a negotiation. I'll use this for an example. We had to schedule this, right? We had to negotiate a time. Katie's available this time. Natalie Janine's available this time. Where are we going to meet at? What time? That's a negotiation. But we see that as simple, everyday thing. You have to discuss it. You have to do that. Well, I need you to do that constantly in your day-to-day life. Because if you exercise that negotiation muscle, because if you do little things again and again, they add up to big things and you start doing big things again and again, and then it just becomes part of your nature. So if you exercise that negotiation muscle day to day and you advocate, especially when it's tough, on your knees and you tell that person that, you'll start doing it more and more. So then when you get to a job offer, you know to ask automatically, I don't care what it is. I automatically ask for 48 to 72 hours. You should never accept an offer on the spot if you know you're going to negotiate. Because once you accept the offer, negotiation's off the table. So I tell my clients, take 24 to 48 hours. Determine, what do you want? Do you want more money? Do you want more paid time off? Do you want to work remote? Or do you want a combination of those things? Create a proposal. And it's so important before you go into the negotiation room that you say your positive affirmations, you play your favorite song, you dance, you get dressed and feel beautiful and sexy. It's important that you feel confident. When confident people walk through the room, you know it. There's an aura that everybody feels in the room, that everybody wants to gravitate towards you. In a negotiation, you need to go like that. Why? Because you're telling yourself, I am worthy, I am the girl for the job, and I'm about to be paid for the value I bring to the table. So then you say what you want. But you've already done all the confidence work that you walk in with your head held high. You're going to say what you want, and the person going to be like, dang, she was confident. She articulated the value she brings to the table. I need to go think about this. And it has to be more than I offered her because what she said. But it starts with confidence. Because I've negotiated with some people that are not confident. I'm like, you don't think you want this? I even tell my clients sometimes when they come to me and they tell me why. I'm like, why are you asking for that amount? And they say, I say, you don't even think you deserve that amount. There's something there that you're not confident on. What is it? And if it's fear, take some deep breaths and slow down. It's okay for your voice to shake. It's okay to be nervous, but just calm down. Tell yourself, I'm asking for my worth and my value. I'm asking for the value. And I always tell people, take feelings out of negotiations. Your feelings matter. They do to you. They don't matter to the employer. They don't care about, I feel I deserve. Oh, they don't care. Are you saving them money? Are you bringing value to the company? And then negotiate based on that. And to understand, they expect you to negotiate. 73% of companies expect you to negotiate. That should be a confidence booster right there.
Wow.
Yeah,
Really?
it's high. It's high.
73%.
That's high.
That is high. So can you tell me who comes to you and hires you? Like tell me about, who the clients are that come to you and hire you and all of the different things that you help them with.
Yes. So surprisingly, all my clients are not in corporate. I have educators, I have government, I have nonprofits, and I
Wow.
have corporate. Yeah, it surprises me too. Because I'm very clear that I help corporate women who feel stuck. Of course I can help other people, but they come to me and I'm like, if I can help you, let's work together. If I can't, let's find you a different resource. And out of all the women that come to me, I would say these are the things that they struggle with the most. They feel stuck in their careers. They lack a work-life balance, and they're ready for more. They have tried to do more, try to receive more on their own, and they're just hitting a wall. And so they're feeling miserable, stuck, and just like, what's next? Those are the clients that come to me. They're like, I got to do something different. I need your help. And you know what does my soul really good is every client I work with, I know by week 3 or week 4, they already are proud. They're like, oh my God, girl, I don't even have a job yet, and you have just changed my whole life. Like, this is way worth my money, or things like that. So what I help them with first is identity. A lot of us struggle with identity because we didn't have people pouring into us. I mean, I'll never forget when I applied to this college, which is a big deal. Spelman College is a big deal.
Oh,
And,
yeah.
oh, you know it.
Yeah, I know it. Yes, I was wondering what college it was. Yes, I've heard of Spelman.
Yes,
Yeah, that is a big deal.
it's a big deal. And I had someone tell me to apply to a different school, you're not going to get in. Thankfully, I was me. I didn't even listen to it, but I still remember it to this day.
Did
And
you
that's how many
mail
years
her
ago.
did you mail her a photocopy of your diploma? No.
When I got the acceptance letter, guess who office I went to? Oh, the school that wasn't going to get in, I got into. But I say that to say that we constantly have these messages tearing us down. And so then we adopt these identities that are not even ours. And so if you were fearfully and wonderfully made, like we were all created fearfully and wonderfully, you are so beautiful and whole. The world has torn you apart. So it's my job to rebuild you exactly how you were created. So that's what we spend the first couple weeks on, like identity, mindset, confidence, because I need these things to be resolved in a healthy way so that when you go to your job, you're not putting up with the BS you've been putting up with. You're not working overtime, not being paid. You're not working in horrible conditions. You're not working with a boss who doesn't trust you. That's resolved. Guess who's going to find the job that actually they enjoy, they can't wait to do, they're doing work that they enjoy, being compensated for the work. So we do that, and then I teach you on how to apply. We have been taught you put a cover letter and resume in, you get the job. That's a lie. That's a lie. That is not how you get jobs. And so I teach them my proven 4-step method on how do you get a job before you even apply. Like when I was working for the people, I hadn't applied for a job in a long time. I was like, oh, Janine, can you submit your resume for legality? Oh, yeah, here you go. A resume had it. I shouldn't be telling. I've been telling people this. I should not tell people this. My resume had a spelling error on it for years. I literally didn't know until recently because my client asked for a resume example and I went through to make sure it was right. I was like, girl, you had this spelling error on there for years. My point is, because like you said, can you do some of the skills and do you fit the culture of the company? If you do, I'll hire you. Everything else is teachable. And so I teach them that. And it's it's amazing to see some of my clients negotiate. Like I had the privilege of my client and I were on the phone talking and she said, oh my God, the lady's calling me and she wants to negotiate. I said, you got it. Let's go. And the way I heard her, I'm so glad I put myself on mute. Because I'm like, yes, go girl, you did that. I was so excited. Because they negotiate with confidence. It's bananas how they come to this program, they leave and like making 6 figures. I'm like, whoa, good job.
Wow. Is your program a one-on-one coaching or is it a mastermind?
So right now it's 101, but I am switching to a mastermind because there's 101 I love. Don't get me wrong. I love it.
Mm-hmm.
But the mastermind and all of us coming together and the beauty we see and the ways in which you see other people negotiate and what you can take from that, So I'm moving towards mastermind soon, and I'm excited.
Yeah, it definitely has value for sure. So what is next for your business, and how do you hope to grow and keep helping women in the future?
Ooh, great question. What's next is coaching. Coaching lights my soul up. It is definitely my calling. So I love it, and I'm definitely going to stay doing that. And I'm ready to take my movement globally. I want to be on stages helping women around the world do this work. And so that's next for me. And then help as many women as I can and partner with other women to help women. Like, I just want to see this. We talk about women coming together, and I really want us to see us come together and host conferences and programs so that women can truly live the life they desire. I'm tired of the pay gap, death mortality rates, and just things that are stacked against women. And it's like we including myself are waiting for a government to do something for us. It appears that it may not happen or it's going to take way too long. So can we get together and help one another and create this beautiful life that we want? So that's another goal of mine.
I love that. I cannot wait to see where that takes you to continue the relationship. Is there anything else?
You're coming along with me.
Oh, I am. I'm going to come to your first big conference, front row.
Maybe you're speaking or maybe we're hosting together because, again, this is a collaborative effort.
Oh, for sure. I love that. Is there anything else you'd like to share with our listeners before we sign off?
The last thing I would share with you is just reiterating what I've said already. Bet on yourself. No one else is going to bet on you. They'll definitely support you once you put yourself out there. But I want you to put yourself out there because it'll do a couple things. Confidence booster, a reminder that you are really valuable, and you're going to see your full potential the more and more you put yourself out there. Bet on yourself and know that you have two cheerleaders, Katie and Natalie Janine, who got your back.
Yes, I love it. We got to end this one with a round of applause. That was so exciting. Well, thank you so much, Natalie Janine. We'll put all of your links in the show notes so people can know where to find you. And definitely check out her TikTok. You are killing it on TikTok, girl. I love it.
Thank you. Katie, thank you so much. I appreciate you and the work you're doing. And I love the perspective you brought to the table because you're an employer. I'm my own business, but I ain't hiring nobody or any of that. You have that experience. So you offered such valuable tips. And I'm thankful for the work you're doing. I'm thankful that you've been in the business for so long and you're employing people and you're poured into us. So thank you. I appreciate you so much.
Well, thank you. This was absolutely a delight. And make sure you check out Natalie Janine's podcast as well. Thank you so much.
Yay!
Off the Beaten Career Path podcast is a Lit Path Studios production and is produced by Jamie Gale and Katie Myers. Music is by Sasha Gray and Pond 5. If you enjoyed today's show, please leave us a review and share it to your social media. Remember, your career path is up to you to create. Keep exploring, keep pushing boundaries, and keep blazing your own trail.